family comes first. Or does it? The Millionaires Meltdown, I witnessed up close. Look, I've been trimming hedges and tending gardens for California's elite for years. Mansions in Beverly Hills, estates in Malibu, you name it. Rich folks, dripping in Gucci and Rolex, sipping $5,000 champagne like it's water. But let me tell you their problems? Same old drama as regular folks, just with fancier backdrops. NGL, this one family of millionaires I work for, their story takes the cake. I'm just the gardener, ex-Marine, always keeping my head down, but what I saw last summer. Damn, it was a train wreck. Here's how it kicked off. I was pruning roses at this sprawling estate, the kind with a fountain bigger than my old barracks, when I heard shouting from the terrace. Marcus, the head of this billionaire family, was pacing in a tailored Tom Ford suit, gripping a glass of Krug so tight I thought it'd shatter. His wife, Heather, in a Chanel sundress, was pleading, "Marcus, don't be selfish. Family comes first." Her brother Phillip, rocking Versace shades and a smirk, leaned back with a whiskey saying, "You really gonna turn your back on your own, Marcus? We could take your firm to the next level." The air was thick, like a storm was brewing. I kept clipping, but my gut, honed from years in the Corps, told me Phillip wasn't just asking for a favor. That dude had a hungry look, like a shark circling a yacht. Jeremy, Marcus's right-hand man, was hovering nearby, looking stressed as hell. He's a good guy. Always slips me a cold Gatorade when I'm sweating out there. He leaned over, pretending to check the roses, and muttered, "FR, this Phillip guy's bad news." He's sniffing around Marcus's investment firm like it's his already. I just nodded. Gardeners don't get involved, but we see everything. Heather's voice cracked as she kept pushing Marcus to consider Phillip's offer. Marcus shot back, "I built this from nothing, Heather." Nothing. Phillip just smirked wider, like he knew something we didn't. If you're wondering what set this off, it was that moment right there on that terrace with the Pacific Ocean glinting in the background when Phillip dropped the bomb. "Your clients are asking questions, Marcus. They want a bigger vision." My vision. "Don't make this hard on the family." I swear, Heather's face froze, and Marcus looked like he'd been punched. Me? I just kept pruning, but I knew this was the spark that had burned the whole damn mansion down. And my phone? It hasn't stopped buzzing with Jeremy's texts since. "You won't believe what went down next, Reddit fam. What would you do if your in-law tried to hijack your life's work?" I've been tending the gardens of this billionaire family's Beverly Hills estate for 3 years now, and let me tell you, their world's as messy as it is shiny. Marcus, the guy running the show, built his investment firm from a cramped office to a sleek LA skyscraper, managing portfolios for A-listers and tech moguls. He's low-key for a rich dude, always nods when I'm hauling mulch, unlike most. His wife, Heather, is all about Chanel bags and throwing galas with caviar and Dom Perignon. Their mansion, 20 mil easy, complete with a pool you could sail a yacht in and a garage full of Lumbos. But her brother Phillip? Dude's a walking red flag. Always in Versace, flashing a grin that doesn't reach his eyes, bragging about connections while his startups crash and burn. Jeremy, Marcus's right-hand man, told me Phillip's bled millions from investors twice. Shady as hell. Last summer, at Heather's birthday bash, think truffle hors d'oeuvres and string quartet, Phillip kept steering the convo to Marcus's firm. I was clearing plates when he leaned in, all smooth. "Your company's solid, Marcus, but I could make it global. My investors are itching to jump in." Marcus brushed it off, sipping his Macallan, but I caught Heather squeezing his arm like she was in on it. Jeremy, grabbing a beer from a bar, muttered to me, "NGL, Phillip's scheming something. FR, he's been asking weird questions about clients." I just shrugged. My job's the roses, not the drama, but I clocked Phillip's hungry stare. Heather's parents, decked in Rolex and Prada, were all, family helps family, but it felt more like pressure than love. Driving the mower later, I thought, damn, Marcus doesn't see the trap yet. But the next week, Phillip strolled into Marcus's office like he owned it. "You won't believe what he pulled, Reddit crew. Anyone ever deal with a relative gunning for your hustle?" I was shaping the boxwoods at the billionaire family's Beverly Hills estate, sweat dripping under the California sun, when I caught the chaos unfolding at Marcus's office across the lawn. Phillip, Heather's slick brother in his Versace loafers, was strutting through the glass doors, handing out artisanal coffee from some overpriced LA roastery like he was the damn CEO. Employees were buzzing, some excited, others spooked. Jeremy, Marcus's right-hand man, darted over to me, looking like he'd seen a ghost. "FR, Phillip's been calling our top clients," he hissed, checking over his shoulder, "promising crazy discounts if they back his new direction for the firm." He's acting like Marcus is out already. I kept snipping, but my gut, sharpened from my Marine days, screamed trouble. Later, while I was hosing down the patio, I overheard Stephanie, Heather's sister, rifling through a box of old papers in the guest house. She was muttering, "I knew Phillip was lying about those investors." She spotted me, and maybe because I'm a good listener, spilled the tea. "Phillip's burned through 2 companies before," she said, eyes wide. "Used family ties to weasel in, made big promises, then left M bankrupt. I found emails. His investors bailed months ago." I nodded, keeping quiet, but damn, that was a bombshell. Stephanie slipped me a USB drive. "Give this to Jeremy, not Marcus yet. He's too pissed to think straight." By dusk, I saw Marcus storm out of the office, his Tom Ford blazer crumpled, yelling into his phone. Heather trailed behind in her Loro Piana scarf, pleading, "Phillip's just trying to help," but her voice cracked like she didn't believe it. Jeremy caught me later, saying Marcus had started digging into Phillip's past after a tip from a client. "No investors, no money, just debt and lies," Jeremy whispered. "Phillip's whole pitch is smoke." I was raking leaves when I saw Heather's phone light up with a call from her parents, probably piling on more family first guilt. But Stephanie's words stuck with me. This wasn't help, it was a takeover. The next morning, Heather got a text that flipped everything upside down. "You won't believe what was in it, Reddit fam. Ever catch a relative scheming behind your back? What did you do?" I was hauling mulch to the rose garden at the billionaire family's Malibu estate when Marcus called me over to the garage, where his Bentley sat next to a gleaming Tesla. He looked wrecked, his Brioni tie loose, eyes bloodshot. "Need you to run these files to the office," he said, handing me a locked briefcase. "Don't let Phillip near M." The air was tense, like before a storm. Jeremy, his right-hand man, was pacing nearby, muttering, "FR, Phillip's got half the staff thinking he's taking over." I nodded, keeping my head down. My job's the dirt, not the drama, but I'd seen enough to know Phillip was playing dirty. Back at the office, it was chaos. Phillip, in a flashy Zegna suit, was charming employees with promises of bonuses and new leadership. I caught Jeremy and Stephanie, Heather's sister, huddled in a corner, scrolling through a laptop. Stephanie had dug up more dirt on Phillip, emails, bank records, even a grainy voicemail where he bragged about flipping businesses for quick cash. She looked at me, eyes sharp. "He's done this before, sinks companies, pockets the profits, blames the owners. We can't let him touch Marcus's firm." Jeremy nodded, adding, "We've got proof his investors are fake. Just debts and lawsuits." I handed over the briefcase, and Jeremy whispered, "Good call, man. You're solid." Ex-Marine instincts, I guess. Watch, listen, act when it counts. Marcus was holed up in his office, glass walls reflecting the LA skyline, planning a counterstrike. I overheard him on a call with a lawyer saying, "We'll show the clients everything, Phillip's lies, his track record." Stephanie was key. She'd tracked down a former partner of Phillip's who'd recorded him promising guaranteed returns on a deal that tanked. She passed me a USB drive to give Jeremy, saying, "This stays quiet till the meeting." Heather was a mess, pacing the estate's marble patio in her Prada heels, torn between her brother and Marcus. I was watering the orchids when she grabbed my arm, eyes wet. "Is Marcus right about Phillip? Tell me straight." I shrugged. Gardeners don't pick sides, but said, "Look at the proof, not the promises." She nodded, shaky, and I knew she was starting to crack. Jeremy and Marcus planned a family meeting at the estate, catered, of course, with caviar and Chateau Margaux, to trap Phillip. They'd invite clients, show the evidence, and let Phillip's lies unravel. I was trimming the hedges when Jeremy filled me in. "We're sending every client a dossier, emails, recordings, the works. Phillip won't see it coming." Stephanie was relentless, digging up more on Phillip's failed ventures, even a lawsuit settled under the table. I suggested to Jeremy, low-key, record anything Phillip says at the meeting. Could be gold. He grinned, first smile I'd seen in days. As I swept the driveway, I saw Heather staring at her phone, a text from her parents, "Support Phillip or you're betraying family." She looked lost, but Stephanie pulled her aside, showing her the USB's contents. Heather's face went white, like she'd been slapped. Marcus, meanwhile, was prepping a video call with his biggest clients, ready to expose Phillip's scam. I was hosing down the fountain when Jeremy ran out, saying, "Phillip's bringing his investors to the meeting. He's got no clue we're ready." The stage was set, and I could feel the tension building like a firefight. "You won't believe what went down at that dinner, Reddit crew. Ever plan to take down a schemer in your family?" I was sweeping the marble terrace at the billionaire family's Malibu estate, the ocean sparkling below, when the family meeting kicked off. Think Michelin star catering, truffle risotto, Wagyu sliders, bottles of Chateau Petrus going for 10 grand a pop. Marcus, in a crisp Tom Ford suit, sat stiff as a board, while Heather, draped in Dior, fidgeted with her diamond bracelet. Phillip, her brother, strutted in wearing Armani, flashing a grin like he was closing a billion-dollar deal. He worked the room, shaking hands with Marcus's top clients, dropping lines like, "We're taking this firm global, folks." I kept my head down, clearing empty champagne flutes, but my marine instincts were screaming, "This guy's a snake." Phillip pulled out all the stops, hyping his vision for Marcus's investment firm. "Marcus built something great," he said, all fake humility, "but I've got the connections to make it legendary. My investors are ready to pour in cash." Heather's parents, decked in Rolex and Prada, nodded like he was preaching gospel. "Family sticks together," her dad boomed, raising a glass. I caught Marcus clenching his jaw, his knuckles white around a whiskey tumbler. Heather leaned in, whispering, "Just hear him out, please." But the vibe? Peer pressure, not love. Phillip handed out glossy business cards to clients, promising exclusive deals under his new leadership. I was refilling water pitchers when I overheard a client mutter, "This guy's promising the moon. Where's the proof?" Stephanie, Heather's sister, was watching Phillip like a hawk. She slipped me a nod while I cleared plates, signaling she was ready. Jeremy, Marcus's right-hand man, was in the corner, texting furiously, probably sending clients the dossier they'd prepped. Then Stephanie stood up, casual as hell, and said, "Phillip, tell us about your last venture. The one that lost 10 mil. The room froze. Phillip's smile twitched. "Old news, Steph. I've learned, moved on." But Stephanie wasn't done. She tapped her phone, and a recording blared through the Bluetooth speakers. Phillip's voice, smug as hell. "Family businesses are easy pickings. You guilt them, and they fold." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Heather's face went ghost white, her wine glass trembling. Phillip stammered, "That's edited." A lie, but the clients weren't buying it. I was stacking dishes when Heather's mom snapped, "Marcus, don't let this tear our family apart." But Marcus stayed silent, his eyes locked on Phillip. Jeremy caught my eye, mouthing, "It's working." They'd sent every client proof, emails, lawsuits, bank records, showing Phillip's investors were a mirage. I saw a client check his phone, then whisper to another, their faces hardening. Phillip kept spinning, insisting, "This is a misunderstanding. Marcus, tell him we're partners." But the room was turning on him. Heather stood, voice shaking. "Phillip, is this true?" He shot back, "You're picking him over family?" I was wiping down the bar when I saw Marcus give Jeremy the signal. The trap was sprung, but Phillip didn't know how deep it went. By morning, he'd stormed into Marcus's office with Heather's dad, demanding access to the servers. They had no clue what was waiting. "You won't believe what happened next, Reddit fam. Ever see someone try to gaslight their way into power?" I was hosing down the driveway at the billionaire family's Malibu estate when the showdown hit. Marcus, in a sharp Zegna suit, stood in the office lobby, flanked by security in crisp black uniforms. Phillip, Heather's scheming brother, was red-faced, yelling, "You can't do this to family," while Heather's dad, in a Rolex and bespoke blazer, barked about loyalty. I kept my distance, coiling the hose, but my marine instincts had me clocking every move. Marcus was done playing nice. He'd called the cops, non-emergency line, smart move, and set up a video call with his top clients on a massive screen in the boardroom. Jeremy, his right-hand man, handed me a tablet to pass to security, loaded with every damning email, recording, and lawsuit against Phillip. Marcus hit play, and there it was, Phillip's voice, bragging about scamming family businesses, alongside bank records showing his investors were ghosts. Clients on the call, big shots in Armani and Cartier, went stone cold. One said, "You pitched us millions, Phillip. Where's the money?" Phillip stammered, "It's a setup," but Heather, in her Loro Piana dress, stepped forward, voice breaking. "I saw the proof, Phillip. You lied to me. To all of us." Her eyes were wet, but she stood by Marcus. I caught Stephanie, her sister, nodding from the sidelines. She dug up half the dirt. Security moved in as Phillip tried to bolt, his Versace shades slipping off. Heather's dad shouted, "This is betrayal," but Marcus shot back, "No, it's protecting my family, my real family." By noon, Phillip's world was toast. Clients pulled out, lawsuits piled up, his accounts frozen. I was trimming palms when Jeremy grinned, "We did, man." Heather hugged Marcus, whispering, "I'm sorry, I doubted you." The estate felt lighter, like the air after a storm. But the next week, my phone blew up with texts. Phillip wasn't done yet. "You won't believe what came next, Reddit fam. What did you do when someone tried to ruin your life's work?" I was pruning the olive trees at the billionaire family's Malibu estate, the Pacific shimmering in the distance, when the fallout from that wild dinner hit like a tsunami. It had been a week since Marcus dropped the bomb on Phillip's lies, and the office was still buzzing. I overheard Jeremy, Marcus's right-hand man, telling a security guy, "Phillip's been calling employees, promising fat raises if they back him." Dude was desperate, showing up in his flashy Versace jacket, handing out donuts from that bougie LA bakery to win folks over. I kept my head down, raking leaves, but NGL, it was like watching a con man cling to a sinking ship. Stephanie, Heather's sister, was relentless. She caught me by the fountain, eyes blazing, and said, "Found more dirt. Phillip's been emailing our clients, offering exclusive deals to jump ship to his fake venture." She showed me a video from a client's gala. Phillip, sipping Dom Perignon, bragging, "Marcus's firm is mine soon. Easy money." I passed the video to Jeremy, who was building a case like a prosecutor. He told me, "FR, this guy's burned 3 companies before. Same playbook, charm, lies, crash." My marine instincts kicked in. I told him, "Keep every text, every call. Nail him." Jeremy grinned, "You're sneaky for a guy with hedge clippers." Heather was a wreck, pacing the patio in her St. Laurent heels, dodging calls from her parents. They were still pushing that family-first crap, texting her, "Don't let Marcus ruin Phillip's chance." But Stephanie sat her down with a laptop, showing bank records. Phillip's accounts were a mess, debts piling up, no investors in sight. Heather's voice cracked, "How did I miss this?" I was nearby, cleaning the pool, when she looked at me, almost pleading. Was I wrong to trust him? I shrugged, gardeners don't judge, but said, "Truth don't care about feelings." She nodded, tears falling. Marcus was in war mode, meeting clients in his glass-walled office, showing them the dossier lawsuits, bounce checks, Phillip's whole scam laid bare. Jeremy whispered to me, "Clients are sticking with us. Some even want to invest more." But then, as I was hauling compost, my phone pinged. Jeremy's text, "Phillip's at the estate with Heather's dad. They're trying to lock Marcus out of his own servers." Shit was about to hit the fan. You won't believe what went down next, Reddit fam. Ever deal with a family member who won't quit scheming? I was raking gravel in the Zen garden at the billionaire family's Malibu estate, the sun dipping low, when the final pieces of Phillip's scam came crashing down. After that server stunt, Marcus and Jeremy went full lockdown. Cops showed up, security barred Phillip, and Heather's dad from the office. I saw Marcus, in a crisp Brunello Cucinelli suit, on a video call with clients, laying out every lie. Phillip's fake investors, his bankrupt ventures, recordings of him scheming. Clients, decked in Rolex and Hermes, were done. Some filed lawsuits that day. Stephanie, Heather's sister, handed me a coffee saying, "We sent every email, every clip, to his old partners. He's toast." Heather, in a flowing Gucci dress, stood by Marcus now, her eyes red but firm. She told me while I trimmed the bougainvillea, "I cut Phillip off. Family doesn't mean blind trust." Her parents kept texting, begging for unity, but their signatures were on Phillip's old shady deals, their rep tanked too. Phillip's world imploded, creditors froze his accounts, his wife filed for divorce, and his office shut down. I overheard Jeremy by the pool, dudes facing fraud charges now. The estate felt calm for once. Marcus's firm, stronger than ever, new clients rolled in, impressed by his stand. I was pruning roses when Heather smiled at me, first time in months. "Thanks for listening," she said. I just nodded. Gardeners don't talk much. Stephanie got a job with Marcus, proving real family shows up. As I loaded my truck, my phone buzzed, Phillip's desperate voicemails, blaming everyone but himself. I forwarded M to Jeremy and blocked him. Family's what you build, not what you break. You feel me, Reddit fam? Ever have to cut off toxic kin to protect your own?